Okay, hi viewers. I know I have not posted in quite a while. I apologize, I've got distracted. But today is November 7th at around 7 o'clock, and we're in the home stretch towards Election Day. And I'm very excited to see what happens. I'd like to sit on the couch and just watch as election night goes down. But here's my the last Senate prediction, what I believe will happen tomorrow night. Let's fill in the safes. Oregon, California, Illinois, Vermont, Maryland, Hawaii. I think that's it for safe Democrat states right now. Republicans, Idaho, Utah, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma. There. Okay, okay. So that leaves 13 seats outstanding. Sorry for the noise. So now we're going to fill in the likely states. As for likely states, Connecticut, I think it's going to be likely. Why likely instead of safe? We had I live in Connecticut. He used to have a very unpopular Democratic governor, and we have one that's a little more popular this time, but still not popular. And Dick Blumenthal, who is the incumbent running for re-election against Leora Levy, is not the best senator there is. A little older, like out of touch. So that's why I'm having him as likely win there. As for other likelies, I would say Iowa, Chuck Grassley versus Franken. Really, it's just Chuck Grassley being old and iffy candidate that makes this likely. Otherwise, it would be a safe. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Still, probably going to go into their hands anyways. Others, I'd say Florida maybe. Barely, maybe a 6 or 7% there. Florida, I think, is slowly making the transformation into safe Republican, which is good for Republicans. If you're a Republican, that's good. Yeah, Florida is a huge piece of the puzzle to control of the presidential races, the House races, the Senate, the governor. A huge piece of the puzzle. I believe Florida will likely to Rubio 6 or 7% this election cycle. So I think that is it for likely races. That leaves 10 races outstanding. Republicans 46, Democrats 44. Moving on, for high lean races, I'd say Washington, mainly because Patty Murray is just average senator, nothing crazy there, and Smiley is a great candidate, young, and the polls have been really showing a tilt to the Republicans, but I still think there isn't that much. The red wave isn't strong enough for a flip. In Washington, you never thought you'd be saying that at the beginning of the election cycle, but here we are, lean, Democratic. I'd say 4 or 5% to Patty Murray in Washington. As for other lean races, I'm going to go with high lean, New Hampshire. Don Bolduc versus Maggie Hassan. Bolduc, is a MAGA Republican endorsed by Trump, which is good for the Republican primaries, but bad for the general election, which is why New Hampshire's really traditionally a Democratic state. It's gone the other way recently, but I still think that Maggie Hassan, I keep forgetting her name, Maggie Hassan will win by 3 to 4% in New Hampshire. For other lean races, North Carolina, Budd versus Beasley. Budd is as close to a perfect candidate as you would get from a Republican. An incumbent U.S. representative, Trump endorsed. I know I just contradicted myself, but hey, I still think there's a better shot for Republicans in North Carolina than there is in New Hampshire. I think Budd will beat Beasley by around 3 to 4%. As for other races, Ohio, lean Republican. J.D. Vance is a very iffy candidate. Tim Ryan is a good candidate, but I think the red wave is strong enough, and Ohio's red enough for J.D. Vance to win by 2 to 3% in Ohio. In Wisconsin, Johnson versus Barnes. Johnson, iffy candidate, really just running off of race as his platform and, social issues. Ron Johnson has, MAGA, Republican, some extreme views there. But, I don't know. I still think that Ron Johnson will barely squeak into the lean margin, but winning by 1 to 2% there. And as for the final of the lean races, Colorado, up until recently, this was a safe Democratic state, but with Joe O'Dea instead of someone like Ron Hanks as the Republican nominee, it's different now. And with the red wave and all, I see Michael Bennet winning by 1.5 to 2.5% in Colorado, as crazy as it may sound. So now we get into the four big kahunas, the four races that are going to decide what party will be controlling the United States Senate. Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. As it stands, 4 races left, 49 for the Republicans, 47 for the Democrats. Let's start with the one I believe will have the highest margin of victory, and that is Arizona. So Mark Kelly was expected to win by a lean margin up until recently with the red wave. But I still think Blake Masters being a MAGA candidate, Trump endorsed, and what else was there? And him just not having much experience. I think that Mark Kelly, which will win by a high to medium tilt margin, maybe somewhere like 0.60% there. Yeah, it's going to be close in all of these, really. There you go. Arizona barely going in for Mark Kelly there. I'll go with Nevada next. Nevada is interesting because, in Pennsylvania and Georgia, there's always been a solid leader. There's always been a solid person leading the polls throughout the entire in Pennsylvania and Georgia throughout the entire election cycle. But Nevada's the only one where there was never really a true front runner. But no, looking at the red wave, looking at Cortez Masto, I don't know. I just see Laxalt winning by like 0.25%. I don't know. It's going to be close. I think Adam Laxalt is going to win the race by just barely, like 0.25%. It's going to be close. It can really go either way. It is. All 3 of these, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, are true toss-ups. The true toss-ups that we really don't know what's going to happen there. As for Georgia, Georgia is an interesting case. Really, Herschel Walker was leading the whole election cycle up until, all the abortion scandals and with his ex-wife. And really, we know that scandals kill campaigns. So I think that Raphael Warnock barely wins, but like 0.20%, 0.20%. It's going to be very, very close there. But I think Raphael Warnock will just barely take it out of Walker's hands. So then it all comes down to good old Pennsylvania. And I believe that Mehmet Oz will win. Reason why is John Fetterman is a very obscure candidate. I mean, he has the experience. He is the lieutenant governor, popular lieutenant governor at that. But, even just looking at him, he doesn't look like the traditional politician. The tall, the what is it called? The goatee, the structure, the sweatshirts he wears. That's just not political. And even though Mehmet Oz is perfect, I don't think anyone is really, cheering about John Fetterman and who he is. And, even Mehmet Oz being a MAGA Republican, Trump endorsed, doesn't have any experience, all that. I don't know. I just think I think Pennsylvania will be the closest race. Mehmet Oz winning by 0.10%. and it's going to be really, really close. But I have Republicans just barely taking control, 51-49. And there you have it. That is my Senate prediction. We'll see if this holds up. I mean, we'll find out pretty soon. Today, we have less than 24 hours before the first polls close in Indiana and Kentucky. I know, I'm very excited. Please comment down below what you think about all of my predictions here. And once again, I'm very sorry about not posting. That's my fault. I have some really cool 2024 Iowa caucus and New Hampshire primary content coming out relatively soon. A few weeks, maybe. And my next video is going to be governor prediction. Probably going to film it right after this, to be honest. And then I'll do maybe the Connecticut governor prediction after that. I don't know, I'm going to do some videos tonight. Yeah, so that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, thank you.